Welcome to Temple Sinai. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I'm Rabbi Lipper. This is Rabbi Ari. We're here to help guide you through our service tonight. And hopefully everyone has a prayer book. I'm going to give you a little clue about the prayer book. It opens the opposite direction from every other book you've ever read. So we do that because that's the direction that Hebrew goes. When you open the prayer book, when you open the book, you open to like 2 pages, okay? All of this on these 2 pages is one prayer, and we're only going to do part of it. So we'll try to give a lot of announcements about where we are, and you'll join in, and the things that you can read along with, please do. And the things that you can't, just sit back and enjoy the sound. Our service begins tonight on page 24. Page 24. And we're going to open with a song, Shalom Aleichem, peace to you.
Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Achurim l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So I neglected to say, when you look at a page and it has that funny writing on it that looks different than you've seen, that's Hebrew. And usually next to it is the English characters of that song or reading. So hopefully you'll follow along. We turn now to page 6 in our prayer book. And let's bring Kenza up to lead us in prayer. We're at the bottom of the page. We'll read responsively.
May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be high enough to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May this synagogue be for all who enter the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. And now I want to invite up Pascal and Faiza and Patrick and Cynthia to join us up here at the candles. On page 3,
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shal Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
now today I think is day 511. Michael?
That is not what's causing the feedback.
Michael? Today's 511. 511 days since October 7th, 2023. And every Friday since that moment, we've lit an extra candle for the hostages because they're not with their families. They are being held captive by terrorists in underground tunnels scattered throughout Gaza. And until they are all free and reunited with their families, we will continue to light a candle each week. And as we light this candle, we say a short little prayer. Baruch atah Adonai matir asurim. Blessed is God who redeems the captives. And may they all be redeemed soon and return to their families. Let us turn to the back of our prayer book, page 374. And I invite you to rise with us as we face the Israeli flag and join together with the words to Hatikva.
Kol balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homiyah ufatem Mizrach kadima ayin lezion Sophia Tikvatenu Hatikva bat shnot alpayim
May our hope turn to peace soon. And let us all say, Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. So now, we turn in our prayer books to page 8. Page 8.
I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no cinematics, no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created, and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us, and to bring that vision to life.
So let us continue now on page 16.
Zameru Adonai, Zameru Adonai Bechinor, Zameru Adonai Bechinor B'kol Zimra.
So let's continue now on page 20 with a poem, a piyut, a musical song, L'chadodi, to welcome in the Sabbath.
L'chadodi, l'ikrakala, b'nei Shabbat, l'kavela, 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 Shalom v'zachor v'yidurecha, Ishmianu elam yichad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, V'shemo tiferet v'litila, L'chadodi, l'ikrakala, b'nei Shabbat, kala b'nei Shabbat nekalela לקראת שבת לכו ברכה כי מקור הברכה בראש מקרן נצוחה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לחרדי לקראת כלה ב'נei שבת נקרלה לחרדי לקראת כלה ב'נei שבת נקרלה התעוררי התעוררי כי בעורף אורי 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 שיר תברי כבוד אדוני עלייך מילה לחרדי לקראת כלה ב'נei שבת נקרלה לחרדי לקראת כלה ב'נei שבת נקרלה
Please rise and face the door through which you came into the room.
בואי בשלום הטרף עלה גם בשמחה וצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לחרדי לקראת כלה ב'נei שבת נקרלה לחרדי לקראת כלה ב'נei שבת נקרלה לחרדי לקראת כלה ב'נei שבת נקרלה לחרדי לקראת כלה ב'נei שבת נקרלה
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for being here. So this is the time in the service. Be seated, please. This is this moment where I get to say, does anyone have any simchas? What's a simcha? A happy moment in their life that they want to share. How about you? Do you have a happy moment in your life that you would like to share with all of us?
Yeah.
What?
So there was this one time that, So there was this one time we went to the water park and it was really fun because I hadn't been to the water park in years, and then we went with Mika and it was really fun.
Okay. What is today?
Bar mitzvah.
Okay, that might be the thing that I was searching for.
Today.
All right. Any other happy moments, simchas? Who in here, this is the first time you've been in a synagogue? Raise your hands. Wow. Well, that's a happy moment. You have this new experience to put into your bag of tricks. Any other simchas, birthdays, anniversaries? Yes. Spring break. That's definitely a simcha. All right? Yeah? All right? What kind of trouble are you going to get into this spring break? Good. Jobs. Yes. Your birthday. Well, happy birthday. Yom Huledet Sameach. Happy birthday to you. Yes? Awesome. Awesome. That's great. Any other simchas, blessings that we can do? Yeah. Awesome. Great. Well, that's wonderful. So today, Shabbat is an opportunity for us to kind of come together, share our lives, share what's going on in the world. Sometimes the world seems pretty foreboding, but when we come together and we share the blessings that we have, it gets a little lighter. And so that's why we do it, to just get a little lighter when we're together. So now, guess what? We're going to turn in our prayer books to page 26. Page 26. And Kenza's going to lead us.
Yidkada v'kada shmei rabba Be'al divra kirte v'yamlich makute B'chayehon u'vyomechon U'chayedecho Beit Yisrael Bagala, bagala, ugizman kariv, bimeru, amen.
Yehi shmei rabba mevora, L'olam almaya,
Yitbarach, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, B'pa'ar v'drama v'naseh, V'tadar, v'taleh, v'talach,
Shmei Kudushabrihu, Leila min Kodrahata v'shirata, Tushbehata v'nehemata, Damiram v'yoma, Mimeru, Amen. Please rise as able and turn to page 28.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We turn now to page 30.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bivaro ma'ariv arvim, b'chokhmah poteh asharim, uvidvuna meshanech itim, umahalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, galel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom u'meviv layla, Umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai Tzivaot Shemo, El Chai v'Chayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
We continue now on page 33 at the top.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean for me to struggle too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated as we continue on page 36.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lefa u'kol nafshecha u'b'chom yadecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shimnatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha Uletecha v'derech, Ushokbecha v'kumecha, Ushkatam le'ot ayodecha, V'hayuletotafot beinecha, Uftatam, Amizuzot beitecha, Uvisharecha, Leman tizkeru, V'asitem et komitzvotai, V'etem kadoshim leloheichem, Ani Adonai Elohim, Asher hosei tiachem, me'eretz Mitzrayim, v'yot lahem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohim, Adonai Elohim, Amen.
Continuing now on the top of page 39.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that we are taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
Chamocha v'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha v'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norah tehilot, oseh veleh. Norah tehilot, oseh veleh. Adonai Yam nifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zehelianu ve'amru, Zehelianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha v'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha v'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norah tehilot, oseh veleh. Norah tehilot, oseh veleh. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
We continue on the top of page 43.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up awaiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom aleinu, v'al amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Follow her.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat u'lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dor tambarim tolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat u'lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dor tambarim tolam. V'nei b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat u'lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dor tambarim tolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat u'lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dor tambarim tolam. U'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'nafash, Shabbat v'nafash, Shabbat v'nafash. בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית עולם.
Great job. So now we turn to the next stage of our worship, page 46 in our prayer book, and I invite you to rise as able for tefillah, for our prayer.
Adonai Sfatai Tirtach, Adonai Sfatai Tirtach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevi gula livnei bneihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayeh hakol atah, Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach, Umorid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Tzomech Noflim V'Rofech Oholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, umidom melach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'neman nata lachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol, atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yalucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
And let us all say, Amen. You may be seated. And we turn now to page 55 in our prayer books, page 55, as we read together at the top. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. On the bottom of page 57. Together, you are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. Let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. On page 59, at the top. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha Ulcha Na'el Lehodot. And now we turn to our prayer for peace on page 60, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amacha, Tasim Leolam. 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 Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amacha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amacha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov enecha levarech et Amacha Yisrael bechol et ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amacha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amacha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Now in this sacred space, let's take a few moments for our own private reflection, for the opportunity to turn inward to our own prayers. Use the next few moments to pray silently.
Oseh shalom bimromah, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromah, hu yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
So as we're gathered together, we always think about the people who can't be here today, those who are struggling with illness, whose lives are hard because of the world in which we live or the challenges they face on a day-to-day basis. And so we use this next moment to lift them up, to bring them into our thoughts, the people that we carry with us day by day. And this Shabbat, we call out the names of Joan Adler and Bill Ellis, Stuart Levin, Jim Danmiller, Aaron Kugler, Alan Levin, Karen Ellis, Judith Levy, David Belkin, Gary Habercorn Holm. And I invite you, if you have any names of loved ones, friends, connections you want to lift up, please call them out. On page 253 in your prayer books, you'll find the words to our prayer for healing in the middle of the page.
Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May the Holy and Blessed One bring healing to all those that we've named out loud and in our own hearts. And may God find us in the week ahead and give us a sense of that divine blessing which we so seek as we go through our daily journeys. And let us all say,
Amen.
So, tonight I want to dive a little deeper into the text that we read this Shabbat from the Torah, from the book of Exodus. Tomorrow morning, Kenza is going to read a section of Exodus where Moses describes through the voice of God the objects that fill the Mishkan, the sacred building, the tent in the wilderness. Last week, we were told in the text to make space in our lives for the sacred. Build a Mishkan, a sacred place, and in you I will dwell. This Shabbat, we have the first mention of the Ner Tamid, that glowing yellow orb over the top of the ark. Okay. And it was a light that burned in the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary that will be constructed in the wilderness in the book of Exodus. And it's a light that is supposed to burn, as the text says in Hebrew, tamid. What does tamid mean? We'll learn. That's where the controversy begins. So tamid has two meanings. It can mean something that happens perpetually, which means all the time, or it could be something that happens regularly. So most of the Jewish world, and as I have found many Christian communities now, well, they have a light that burns all the time in the sanctuary. Okay? And this light is always on. It is kind of a beacon, if you will. And let's figure out why. So Rashi is a 12th century French rabbi who was the greatest commentator on all things biblical. He holds by the plain and simple meaning of the text. And it says that Aaron is commanded to light the light each evening so that it would burn until morning, continually. Every night, relight it. Every morning, it burns out. The text of the Torah seems to agree with that interpretation. Well, the next verse reads, Aaron and his sons shall set the lamp up in the tent of meeting, outside the curtain, which is over the ark, to burn from evening to morning before the Lord. It really doesn't leave room for any doubt. That's what the Torah says. That's what we should be doing. This is a lamp that is to burn regularly, all night, every night. But the rabbis don't like that simple interpretation. Long before Rashi commented on the passage, the Talmud, so let's go back 700 years, the Talmud quotes Rav Sheshet, who asks, does God then require the light? Surely, during the 40 years that the Israelites traveled in the wilderness, they traveled only by God's light. But this light is a testimony to humanity that the divine presence rests in Israel. According to Rav Sheshet, if the light is a symbol of God's eternal presence, then it's only logical that the light must be kept continually burning. Just as God is always with us, so must God's light always be with us. It is a perpetually burning light that must never go out. That's why we have this Ner Tamid burning in our sanctuary and in all the synagogues around the world. We don't leave a night light on so that God doesn't have to fear the dark. We leave the light on to remind ourselves that God is always present. There's no moment that God's light does not shine for us. Well, unless the power goes out. So why does Rashi insist that the explanation of Rav Sheshet is incorrect? After 1,000 years, why does Rashi go back to the plain meaning of the text? Does Rashi think that God needs a light in the dark? Well, Rabbi Yehoyada Amir, who was a professor of modern Jewish thought at Hebrew Union College, my alma mater in New York, he explains that the focus of the commandment, when explained as regularly, does not mean the light is always burning. It means that Israel has an obligation to light the light every day. He says, this is a light that we are commanded to kindle before God in order to express our presence before God, our standing ready to serve as partners in the work of holiness and the work of creation. So, have you lit your light today? So which is it? Do we read the text as a perpetual light that is the symbol of God's constant concern for the Jewish people? Or do we see the lighting of the lamps as our people's way of thanking God daily for the constant divine care? I'd like to think that Judaism does with this issue is what Judaism does with most disagreements in the law. They try to reconcile the two so that both ideas are valid. So let's jump ahead to a modern rabbi, Rabbi Shai Held. Shai Held, whom we've studied in our Shabbat study, and he teaches, while the plain sense meaning and the midrashic meaning of the text seem clearly at odds with one another, taken together, they form a potent symbol of God and Israel's life together. The light burning in the Mishkan makes the statement that God and the people are perpetually committed to and present for one another. In other words, God needs us, and we need God. The initial construction of the Mishkan and its vessels is a one-time event. The one-time preparations are exciting. As for any important building project, it is relatively easy to enlist donors. But the service in the Mishkan is different. Service requires consistency and constancy. It doesn't contain the same excitement. There is an element of routine to it, which can sometimes be exhausting and dispiriting. In other words, it's not enough to build the building and establish a community. You have to support it regularly and nurture it constantly in order for it to take hold. So this past week, I was having a cup of coffee with a member who noted that it seemed to be a struggle to get people to show up and do for the community. Have you been asked to come and do something and you've said no? I hope not. Temple Sinai cannot move forward if everyone disses the community. Find your passion. Bring it to Temple. Find a task that you want to do and show up regularly and do it. Don't wait to be asked. Don't wait until it's an emergency. This week I've already had a couple of calls from some of my Torah study crew who heard this soapbox I stood on Thursday. And they're ready to commit. Are you ready to commit? Are you ready to find your regular commitment to Temple Sinai? Rabbi Shai Held concludes his essay saying, in serving God, consistency and constancy may just be the most important things in the world. That in order to affirm God with the totality of who we are, and in order to love others in all that we do, regularity and steadfastness are essential. What this section of Torah is teaching us is that it's not enough to only love God in moments of joy and excitement. It's not enough to show God our love when we're celebrating a special moment, a bat mitzvah. We have to love God with all our existence, on the good days as well as the bad days. We have to love God not just when we are in a good mood, but when we are struggling or suffering as well. Our love for God must be constant, regular. There will be days filled with passion for God. There will be days when we feel the presence of God close by so that prayer comes easy and study can be done passionately. But we are commanded to pray, and we are commanded to study. And the mitzvot are designed to help us through the difficult days, the days when spirituality just doesn't work, when we feel far from God and our spirit feels down. We must still pray and still study with the hope that eventually the passion will reignite. Passion and perseverance. We must love God constantly and regularly. May we always strive to be close to God, even when God seems so far away. May God inspire us to bring love to ourselves and to others. As we say, Amen and Shabbat Shalom.
William? Shabbat Shalom. I'm William Proctor, the president of the Temple Sinai Brotherhood, and I have this week's announcements. And I'm already off script. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., join Rabbi Lipper for Torah study, followed by Shabbat services and Kenza's bat mitzvah at 10:30 a.m. Spring Adult Education class, Searching the Prophets for Values with Rabbi Lipper, will continue on Thursday, March 13th at 7 p.m., both in person and on Zoom. Please register to vote for the World Zionist Congress elections beginning March 10th. You can register at www.urj.org. The future of Reform Judaism in Israel is at stake, and we are being encouraged to cast our votes for the Vote Reform Coalition. How long will that vote be going on? It starts the 10th, but... 3 weeks. Okay, it'll be a 3-week voting period. On Tuesday, March 18th at 6 at the Houston Baha'i Center, there will be an interfaith gathering of recitations and reflections. The evening will include sacred recitations, prayers, and reflections from diverse religious traditions, exploring the deeper meaning of fasting and sacrifice. Rabbi Lipper will be presenting the Jewish perspective. See this coming weekly newsletter, The Shofar, for details. Temple Sinai, through a grant from the Rabbi's Discretionary Fund, is sponsoring a film of Dogs and Men for this year's Jewish Film Festival at the Evelyn Rubenstein JCC, Sunday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. This film is dedicated to the victims and survivors of the tragedy which began on October 7th, 2023, as we have marked each Shabbat since then with the lighting of a candle and the singing of Hatikva. We will join the Jewish community in this moment of reflection and remembrance. Tickets can be purchased at www.erjcchouston.org. Excuse me. Friday, March 28th at 7:30, Edgar Saldivar from the ACLU will speak at Shabbat services about immigration issues and our community responsibility to the vulnerable. And last, and a personal favorite, Brotherhood will be having a cookout date night fundraiser on Saturday, March 29th at 6 o'clock here at Temple Sinai. Cost will be $40 per adult and $10 per child. There will be a screening of When Harry Met Sally after the dinner. Please see the weekly newsletter for more details, or the Temple's social media sites and website. And please join us following services for the Oneg Shabbat. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the services.
So a little extra plug for the movie. The movie highlights the attack on kibbutz near Oz. That was the kibbutz where the family was slaughtered, the Bibas family. And one of the survivors of the attack will be here at the JCC to speak following the film as well. And so I want to encourage you. First of all, the Jewish Film Festival is filled with tons of films. And, so you should probably look at other films as well and find things that are meaningful to you. Let's turn now in our prayer books to page 283. And I want to invite Javi Johnson and Lydia Ramirez up to open the ark. 283, please rise.
תגדולה יוצר בראשית, שהוא שם חלקנו לאחר את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שעונות השמיים ויסר הארץ, ומושבך בשמיים ממעל. שכינתו זו, בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ומלכנו וסולתו, ככתוב בתורתו. ויראת היום השבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת. אין עוד, נאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
At this sacred time, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and our neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, those of every race, every nation, every faith, whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we think about those in our own lives, let us meditate. Page 288, reading number 1. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. When you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not on in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. This week, we mark the recent deaths of Ethel Grudin, wife of Alan Grudin, Cynthia Bowman Signs, mother of Dakota Gigout, and Maxine Bennett, the mother of Dan Bennett. We also mark those whose anniversary of their death falls in the week ahead. Herbert Meyer, grandfather of Debbie Simon. Harry Kolker. Hildegard Ostreicher Berman, mother of Mark Berman. Gertrude Hecht, grandmother of Ellen Heller. Flora Att, mother of Josette Hart. Solomon Att, grandfather of Josette Hart. Ruth Grebois, mother of Ron Grebois. Norman Feldman, the husband of Leora Feldman. Lucille Neuwirth, mother of Ellen Neuwirth Hirsch, and grandmother of Lori Neuwirth Hirsch. D. Parker. And if you have any names to add to our list, please call them out. For all of them we say, Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be with us as a blessing. As we turn to page 294 and rise as a community for Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirute v'amlech malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon, chaye decho Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'zman kariv imru, Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei olamaya, Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, Shemei d'kut shabrichu, le'elam in kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran bi'alama v'yimaru, Amen. Yehi Shalom Rabbah min Shmaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and bring comfort to all who are bereaved among us. And let us all say, Amen. So we're going to conclude our service on page 338, in the middle of the page, with the song Am Yisrael Chai.
Amen.
Amen. Am Yisrael Chai. Amen. Amen.
Am Yisrael Chai, Amen, Amen, Am Yisrael Chai, Amen, Amen, Yisrael Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai. Amen, Amen, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai. Oh, Davinu Chai.
Good Shabbos, everybody. Please join us in the lobby for